Thanks so much for joining me on 10 Topics. I'm Joey G. This time we're talking about friendship. Got a lot to say about this, so let's get into it. Friendships are the basis of all different relationships. So I would say that friendships stem into anything you have, either relationships with your siblings, cousins, family members, girlfriends, boyfriends. There's a reason why the word friends in that, wives, husbands. Basically any relationship has to have a friendship component in it. Father and son with your kids, or mother and son or daughter. I find it that friendships are ingrained in everything, and some of the best practices work that way. So what I mean by that is I find like me and my dad's nickname for me growing up was Pal, and mine for his was Buddy. And it really was, I respected him as a father, but I felt like he was in my corner as a friend. And I think that's really important to have in any relationship. Anybody that you can lean on as a friend. Um, you shouldn't be, I don't think that your best friend has to be your significant other, but I think there needs to be a friendship component that keeps that alive. Like I really enjoy hanging out with my wife and as friends, doing friendly things like, just talking and or puzzles, board games, anything of that nature. So I think it's important to have that kind of, you can rely on them, they'll be there for you, and that's what the love gets built on. So I think friendships are lay in there. I say that it's a friendation. See what I did there? You're welcome. So every relationship needs a friendation, and I think that's really important. So I found myself in a situation. I moved to Los Angeles, and I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody out there really, and I'd moved out there to chase a dream in 2003 to become a director. And I started working at Nordstrom, the men's clothing section, and I didn't have any friends. I had found a girl to live with on Craigslist, an Asian girl that was living up the street from Nordstrom. And she told me that she was going to move back to Singapore because her dad was making her, and that she was giving up the lease in a month. It was a month lease. So I either had to find somebody new to live with when I didn't know anybody or move out. So I was like, okay, so I guess I got to find somebody to live with. I had started working at Nordstrom, and I met a very peculiar, nice young gentleman named Justin Gerace. You guys may know him as DJ Gerace. He's on our Joker's Cruises. He is one of my best friends in life. And I found him at the perfect time, and he found me at the perfect time. He had just signed a lease. He had moved out there from the East Coast of Connecticut, and his friend that he moved in with decided to leave and go back to Connecticut. So he had signed this big lease in a duplex apartment to he found himself just with this duplex apartment, and he had nobody to live with. He was about to break the lease and move out. He invited everybody over after work, and I saw his apartment, and I loved it. And I was like, I'll move in here. And he was like, okay. We knew each other a week, and he ended up being one of my best friends. We both didn't really know anyone out there. We worked together, so we were together all the time. He was out there trying to do his music thing. I pushed him to DJ. I made him set up the table in the living room. So he used to DJ at night and practice and stuff as I wrote my screenplays and stuff. So we're really both out there hacking together, and we had each other's backs. So it was really an interesting time. And that was in '03. So now we're on 18 years of friendships, I guess, 18 years of friendship, which is pretty insane. He's an amazing guy. I love him like a brother. We've been through so much, and I try to share all my success with him and have him with me whenever because he's like a good guy to have around. He reminds me of the times when I was just swinging and missing and eating tuna fish out of the can and really struggling, just chasing the dream. And so now to get to reap those rewards and have him by my side is really special to me. So that's a good example of finding friendship later in life. and making the most of a situation and making yourself open just to invite a stranger literally to live in your home and come out on top together. So DJ Justin Gerace, love you, buddy. And another fun thing that I really love about the show and the success of the show is that I've been able to make some really cool friendships. Joey Fatone, Paula Abdul, Patty Jenkins, David Zucker. These are people I text on the regular. Jamila Jamil. These are people I text on the regular. Um, Steve Byrne. I mean, Steve Byrne. We toured London with him. He's been with us. He directed his own film. I want to be him when I grow up. Like he's such a good guy, and he makes me better as a friend. And he literally just checks in and stuff. And he's a good guy. So that's somebody else out of the show that I've been able to get. Laura Grenier from Shark Tank, who I love, and I couldn't believe I want to go to lunch with her. So like budding friendships at each phase of your life is really fun. And of course, I have all my friends, you know them, Sal, Mark, Q, my boys, and it's great to see the best thing about this journey is that I've been able to share it with my best friends. You don't have to tell my best friends what's been happening. I look left and right, they're there on stage with me or on the phone when we get a renewal of another season or a new TV show or whatever. Like we get to share all these experiences together, which is fun. I will say the one thing that I feel like I'm alone is I don't have a lot of dad friends. And that is the part I'm currently working on. I need to find dad friends. And I think as Milana gets older and Remington gets older and we get them in schools and whatnot, I will find that. But the dad friend thing is a little weird. It's not weird. I mean, just like, I don't know. Like, I'm new to the whole dad thing. And I don't know. I can't be a coach. I don't know anything about sport. What am I going to coach? I'm going to coach kickball with this kickball team. I know how to play kickball. That's where I cap out. Bowling, kickball. Hope she's a bowler. Hope Milana becomes a bowler. I got to take her bowling. I got to like start planting the seeds early because of this bowling team. I got skills to pay the bills, y'all, with a Z. So, um, yeah, I mean, dad friendships is. I got the dad jokes down. Got the dad bod. You know it. But besides that, I don't really have the dad friends. If there's any dads out there that want to be my friend. Okay, so let's get to the questions. Thank you so much for submitting your questions to my Instagram and Twitter. Again, I'm at Joe underscore Gatto on both of those. So let's get into it. On Instagram, at KC underscore Bonham says, "What's your favorite thing to do with your friends?" Board games. Love game nights. Love a good game night. Love a good murder mystery. Love a good escape room. Escape room's another fun thing. We actually started doing those on the road, the escape rooms. That was a lot of fun. Big fan of those. What else do I like to do with my friends? Gamble. I love a good craps table in Atlantic City or Vegas, surrounded with my friends. One of my favorite memories of Sal was he doesn't know how to play craps really, and when he gets his drink on, he's a lot of fun, loosey goosey, and he just likes to yell stuff and throw dice. So he would just yell 2-2 on the hard four and just like throw them like blowing the dice and be silly goosey and all over the place. So we were in Atlantic City after one of our shows. Sal's rolling the dice for me, and I'm winning so much money with him, but he has no idea what he's doing, and he's just throwing the dice, and I'm just betting. So he said, "You're making all this money." I said, give me your chips." So he put down like $100 in chips, and I started betting for him. But he just kept rolling the dice. He said, "Don't worry, don't pay attention to the bets, just go." And I'm betting everything for him. And when he was done, his $100 in chips that I had given him was like I turned into like $1,500 for him. And he was like, oh, he's like, because Sal's not really a gambler. So he was like, oh, and he just started filling his pockets like Scrooge McDuck. And it was so great. It was a great night. We always love making a scene. And the craps table has such good energy. So that's one of my favorites. If you've ever been on the Joker's Cruise, you see me around the craps table. One of the events I do is I pull people in to roll dice with me, which is always a lot of fun. So I would say some of my favorite activities to do with friends is gamble at a craps table, uh, board game nights kind of deal, or escape rooms are fun. Also, a good 80s dance club. I love an 80s dance floor with some good friends that I could just get my this I get this on. If you don't know what that is, that's me dancing. So at EEI Luge 8, are you more of a listener or an advice giver when friends come to you? Advice giver, for sure. For sure. I tr- I try to listen too, but I feel like people come to me for advice. I think. Yeah, I would say that. I would say I'm an advice giver more than I am a listener. I'll listen and then give advice, but I'm more definitely of an advice giver. Some of the best advice in town. I mean, you guys know I got got it all on lock. I don't. I'm kidding, uh, but it's part of the deal. I think I give a lot of advice. I like being a mentor too, so I think that's where it comes from. At Alicia of dot official, what was your genuine first impression of Sal, Murr, and Q? It's been a long time since I know those guys. Sort of dial into the first time I saw them. Well, it was in high school. It was kind of all the same time I met them all. So I was very geeky and nervous and not as confident in high school. So I clicked with Murray. I clicked with them all for different reasons. I clicked with Murray. Sal was at lunch. I used to make him laugh at the lunch table. Murray, we shared some classes together. And Q, I kind of knew in high school. I knew him. We knew each other. We had seen each other and stuff, but we became friends again, strong and faster, I would say, after we were connected after college. Um, but we were definitely friendly, knew each other, hung out at some stuff together. We had done improv together. So my impression of all of them was I probably liked Sal the most, then Murr, then Q, just because I didn't know Q as well. And Sal, I would just always make laugh the way that he laughs now. And he really enjoyed me, and I enjoyed making him laugh. And Murr and I were kind of kindred spirits, and they were both like a little weird. Um, so there's that. Okay, what's next? At Lil Burrito Haya on Instagram. How can you tell the difference between a healthy friendship and an unhealthy one? Unfortunately, it's not easy. I think people maintain unhealthy relationships out of comfort and convenience and the way they used to be. I think it's important to assess relationships and friendships to make sure they're not one sided. I would say a good indicator for me is if you feel like you're getting back as much as you're putting in. Because good friends, if you're a good friend, like I'm sure you are, you need to you'll be giving some of your energy. So to make sure you're getting some back, I think that's a good indicator. At native.beautyxo, how do you maintain a good friendship? Feed it. You have to pay attention to friendships. You can't let them fall by the wayside, but also they can't feel like work. That's an indicator for me. If they start feeling like work, there's a difference because sometimes you'll identify like, oh, this friendship is slipping. I should probably pay more attention or whatever. But it shouldn't feel like work. You should feel like you want to put the work in, not like, oh, I have to work at this friendship to keep it going. It's okay to outgrow people. It's okay to outgrow friendships. It's okay for friends to come and go in your life. I think that's important and it's an important message. It's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of the other person. It's a reflection of where you guys are in different paths or different points in life. Like somebody could be your best friend and then you feel like you know nothing about them because of the way the way they start developing and the way their life goes versus the way your life goes. So don't feel guilty for ending friendships. That's something I've learned. And friendships don't have to be like, we're not friends anymore. Friendships could just fall by the wayside and they might start back up again, or you could reconnect later at a different time. They're not linear, they weave in and out. So you might meet later down the path. Um, what's the main quality you look for in a good friend? At Lives Wong asks. Trust. I would say this. If anybody's talking bad about you to is anybody's talking bad about somebody else to you, they're talking bad about you to somebody else. I have no time for that or room for that in my life. I do not trust those people. It steered me pretty good. I try to be that person that does not talk bad about people behind their back. So that's an indicator of people to stay away from. I don't know if that was your question, but there it is. At Beatles0921, you're stranded on a desert island, and you can either have a dog as a friend or a human. Which do you choose? It's going to be hard for anybody to beat out Biscotti. I'd have to go human. Here's why. Dogs die sooner. No, that's not what I meant. I'll say it's true, but I'll say with humans, you could get a lot more out of a human friendship. Like if I got to move a big log, what's a dog doing? You know, dog will help me like it's an alarm system. Like if somebody's coming, "Rawr, rawr," but you get that. I would go with a human. I would go to human because you're just gonna get more out of that relationship. If I if I knew that it was going to be no matter what, 6 months and it's over, you're going to be done, I'd probably take a dog. But if there was hope to get off this desert island or whatnot, yeah. Also, I don't know dogs and sand, how that's going to go. On Twitter, at official underscore PJoa, what does having a friend actually mean to you? Having a friend means that you are able to be the best version and worst version of yourself and not be judged for either once you've established your friendship. And I think that's important. I think it's important to have a complete open door, vulnerability that they know the kind of person you are. So you could be any version of that person, if that makes sense. And I think it's not judgment, but encouragement, right? I think I always said this, surround yourself with people that make you better, right? I think that's important. I think friendships, healthy friendships, have this kind of ecosystem where we are pushing each other and bringing out the best in each other and identifying what is stopping us from being our better, best version. So I think that's an important part of it. At Tony Gunk 145, do you think it's amazing that your show brings friendships together? I met Natasha J underscore oh 01 because of the show, and we've been best friends for a while now. Hands down, my favorite thing about the way my career has gone is knowing the people, the friendships that have sparked it. I've seen it firsthand with so many groups, so many people. It's been such a crazy thing. So on the cruise, I see people that come by themselves on the boat and hang out on the boat all the week, and then leave with friends of 10 to 15 people and keep in touch over Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And it's just been such a crazy ride. I've seen best friends being made. I've seen people being able to connect. I see people meeting for the first time at one of our shows. So a friend in Nebraska and somebody's in Boston, and they come to one of our shows, and it's the first time they've met. I've seen that. I'll tell you even one crazier. One of one of my closest friends, a bunch of my closest friends, and actually people that I trust to help me, and I've been able to give some employment with, started as fans on the show. And we've just had a connection and it carried through. Shout out Juliana Delaney. And I was able to cultivate those relationships into real world when I needed help and people that I could trust that I knew me, my brand, knew my show, and just good people. So the show has done a lot in that effect. It's connected a lot of good people in different ways. So I think that's great. At half at Hefty Holder, what's your favorite thing a friend has ever done for you? I guess stuck by me and worked their ass off on a TV show and live tour and multiple shows to make the world laugh. I mean, the everything that my best friends Sal, Mur, and Q have done, and the sacrifices that they've made, and the work that they've put in, and the dedication to do everything that entails to live this life and maintain this comedy juggernaut is not lost on me. They have all bent in different ways for different things. They've all pushed to get things done. They're just a fabulous group of gentlemen that I'm honored to call friends. That's friendship. That's my idea of friendship, friends. Thanks so much for joining me on 10 Topics with Joey G. I've been Joey G.